Okay, we're back, y'all. And it just started before we got started.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about closed relationships as it relates to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it to be important to talk about because we do, from time to time, get people that talk, well, women particularly, that talk about how isolated they become with their spouse
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that it almost appears to be abusive and very selfish type stuff. Now, in some cases, it's not so much that he's hitting her, but it's the whole attitude of authority is out of whack. And so today we're going to talk about the wrong and the right of it, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And
Because some people might say ain't nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna get some viewers
Yeah.
who will say that I don't have a problem with my husband doing that. I want to be in his total control,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna just say let's look at that a minute.
Yeah.
Let's look at that a minute.
And why would you? Why a grown person would want to be in total control to somebody else? Now, last time we talked about open marriage, and of course we discussed how open marriage is that pretty much anything goes because that's what it says. It says open. We get to do whatever we want to do. Plus we stay married.
Hmm.
And so we thought it was right for us to come in and talk about this closed marriage. And we were just sitting here talking, and you was telling me about an incident when you was in the store of a lady trying to
Yeah,
buy something, and how her husband gave it a third degree. you know
yeah. The thing is that the lady had bought a plate, and it was one of those kind that you use as an accent in the home. And when she got to the counter, I just happened to be standing behind them and listening to their conversation. And one of the things that struck me was that the husband was so into the plate.
hmm.
Where was the plate going to be? Was it going to fit the color of the room? Why would we put a plate in the children's room? Because she said, I'm going to put it in the children's room. He's like, well, why are you going to put it in the children's room? Is it going to be the right color? And, it just struck me. I'm just like, that's different. Now, so of course I said to myself, is there any wrong in that?
Yeah,
Because now it didn't
yeah,
strike me right, but that don't mean it was wrong.
yeah, yeah. But see, most men, and I'm not saying all men, don't quote me on that, but most men are not really involved in the decoration inside the home.
Yeah, they're not.
You
Not to
know,
the degree
not
that you're
of a
questioning
plate.
me over the
Yeah,
plate.
so and let's say this too, that a lot of times when we see situations like that, that means that those people got issues with one another most of the time. They got issues with one another because if you going back and forth with me on a plate, it's something deeper than a plate.
Well, it wasn't so much that he was angry or
No,
that he
no,
was argumentative.
no.
He was just asking a lot of questions to her, and you could tell it didn't do her right because she recognized I was looking, and so she was trying her best to just get him out the subject and walk away.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when we talking about a closed relationship, uh, we talking about something to the magnitude of the movie Sleeping with the Enemy. To where I mean, the man had total control. I mean, to where everything had to be in place.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all remember that movie, to where in the cabinets all the labels had to be turned forward,
yeah,
and
something
all that
strange.
thing. Towels couldn't be, out of
Yeah,
the way.
something
I'm
strange.
talking about, that's what we talking about when we talking about clothes. Now I'm not talking about us conversing with one another about stuff we need to do. But I'm talking about when a man is dictating. I'm
Yeah,
talking about totally dictating that she can't do anything without checking with him first.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That to me is a close relationship. And the reason why I say that, this is just my own opinion, and everybody else can jump in there, because God don't do us that way. God don't dictate to us. He give us His word. He say, if you love me, then you'll keep my commandments.
Hmm.
And love, we've had this conversation before, that love drives a person to do what needs to be done, to where they don't have to be dictated to. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Because if you love me and I love you, then the fact is I'm seeking to please you. I'm seeking to look towards my home. You know, as a man, you seeking to look towards your home as a woman. You know, and so that's how things get done to me. It's not in a dictated fashion because God don't do it. He give us total freedom to make choices. There's consequences to it, just like when we in a marriage, there's consequences when we make bad decisions. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about close relationship, to where a person, because hey, it could be some women dictating.
Certainly.
You know, so it's just not, we're not just gonna
I've
say
seen them.
you know, men, but
Right.
it can be some women dictating
seen them.
the relationship too, to where, you know, husband afraid to do anything without checking with his wife.
Exactly.
And certainly we're not saying do not check with your spouse. That's not what we're saying.
Oh, certainly not.
We
Certainly
saying
not.
that when it's just one of those nitpicking.
Yeah, it's just when we say closed, it's to the extent that you're almost isolated in the sense that you cannot go outside of him. You know, that's what we're talking about. Because I've seen relationships where men are saying, "Look, don't make no decisions without me." They don't care what it means.
Yeah, how little it is, how big it is.
Exactly.
You know.
So it even comes to the degree that you're almost looking like you've been abused, and in some cases you are very emotionally abused because you can't voice your opinion. You can't talk about none of your stuff that you don't like, any of that, or do like at that point, because everything's centered around here.
Now let's talk about how that's bad.
Exactly.
Now, what about when that person exits, whether it be by death or whether it be by divorce?
Right.
And you've been trained, because remember we talked about the training
we see
process.
a lot of women who've been trained.
You've been trained that now you don't know how to make a decision.
Exactly.
Because that person is gone.
handicapping.
I mean, and that's the key word, is that it handicaps us when we allow a person to just be totally dictated in the relationship, and that don't work out good for us.
Exactly. Well, we're going to end this session and come back with us, because we're still talking about closed relationships.
Hey, may God bless you and keep you is our prayer.